Hello everyone, welcome to Ciphernoon. This is a new series with me, Ciel, that I'm going to be doing where we are going to be learning coding and development together. So this will be good for anyone who wants to practice and learn HTML. We're going to do Python, we're going to do JavaScript, all that good stuff. Some of these I know, some of them will be a good refresher for me because I don't use them very often. And if you're coming from the Slothicorn side, in which you know what's good, you know that the Slothicorn delegation was ended, and then I forked off into Planet Slothicorn, and now I would like to earn the steam back so that we can start the daily art curation again that we were doing when we had our previous delegation. But we can't do that if we don't earn steam, and I think one of the best ways to earn steam, the best ways to earn, is to build stuff. So together, you and I are going to be going over these classes so that we can, brush up on all things we already know, get our mind right, get our mind sharp, or maybe even learn new things, because we're going to start with HTML, Python, JavaScript, all that good stuff, and then we're going to move more into more blockchain specific projects. Some of it using the same things, but some of it using things like Solidity or Viper, to use an example from Ethereum. So we're going to get started. So to do this, we're going to be using Codecademy, and if you sign up for Codecademy and you can get a free account there. If you get a free account, you'll see kind of what I'm seeing right here. This is a free account. I've gone through and done these classes already, but you can reset the progress so that we can do them together. And let's just get started with welcome to Codecademy. This is going to be a good adventure for us. So we're going to work towards building tools and games and things like that for Planet Slothicorn. And there is a roadmap available on the Slothicorn.com website to kind of start to show you where we're headed. But for now, let's focus on the coding. Let's get our minds sharp. Start. All right. So before we begin, ready to code. Yes. Remember that anyone can learn coding. You won't necessarily be it won't be the easiest thing for you necessarily, or you won't be the best at it necessarily, but anyone can learn coding. It's really just practice, because some of us, our brains work in a way that coding makes sense, and some of us, our brains are much better at other things. I happen to be someone where my brain is much better at other things. Symbolism, language, storytelling, all that good stuff. So coding for me is super great because it trains my brain, it sharpens my brain, it challenges me, and it's really just practice. If I can learn how to do it, you can learn how to do it. So the first little intro thing they give us here is going to get us used to the console that we're going to be using for all the lessons. So, welcome to Codecademy. Are you ready to start coding? Yes, we are ready. Codecademy is all about learning by doing and by coding. In this lesson, we'll take you through the basics of how to use Codecademy and show you some of the power of learning to code. The section below this text contains instructions about what to do and how to proceed to the next exercise. The center panel contains a code file which is running in the browser panel to the right. Move your mouse cursor over the letters in the browser panel to animate them. Ooh. Click the next button when you're ready to dive in and start coding. Great, we're ready. Let's write some code. Write some code. The code in the editor panel is written in a programming language known as JavaScript, but that detail isn't too important right now. It's time to start writing your own code. When you run your code in this exercise, we'll run some tests to make sure that you've added or changed the code correctly. If something's not right, you'll see an error message at the bottom of the code editor. If everything is good, you'll be able to move on. So change the text between the single quotation marks to your name and click the Run button. So we'll go here. They have some nice comments to show us what they did, what this code means. So we're going to change it. Yes, there we go. Perfect. This next button pops up, so we know we got it right. Okay, changing variables. Now you'll use a variable to quickly change your program. Variables are used to store some kind of data in a program that can be referenced elsewhere, often more than once. Variables look different in different programming languages. In the code editor, there's a line that looks like this. Awesome. This line creates a message variable and stores the change the message text in it. Later in the program, message is used to reference that text inside drawName, meaning that the message text appears on the screen. Okay, so change the text stored in the single quotes stored in the message variable from change the message to a new message. Our new message is going to be Planet Slothicorn. Yes, there it is. Perfect, perfect. Next, let's keep it going. Changing colors. Okay, time to make this animation more interesting. In the code editor, drawName now has two items between the parentheses. DrawName, right here. Message and red. The text in the browser panel has also turned red. True. drawName is a set of repeatable code that we've defined elsewhere called a function. So they say elsewhere here, which means you can't see it in here. They mean elsewhere, as in it's literally elsewhere. It's not in here. Just in case you're wondering how this function works, it's not here, so we can't see how it works yet. We can call the function or ask the program to run that code and pass in different values to see different responses. So we'll call the function from elsewhere, and then we'll give it these values, which are variables here that we can see, that we can edit. When you call drawName with two different values, you can set the message and the display color. In addition to red, we've defined variables that represent some other colors for you to use. Change the second variable from red to one of the other variable color names defined in the code editor. Let's change it to purple. Purple marble. Purple marble. Woo! Purple marble. Multiple colors. The text is now displayed in multiple colors. Woo! There's a new variable named letter colors with a list of color variables inside the brackets, separated by comments right here. The display text in the browser panel will cycle through the values in letter colors in order when drawName is called with letter colors. So here, drawName, instead of putting red or orange or whatever, is called the variable letter colors. And so what that means is it's calling this one right here, this right here, and that's helps it cycle through these colors, which we see it doing here. Great. Learning to code is all about experimentation. It's true. Trying out new code and observing the results. As you experiment, you may want to reset your code to the starting state. This can be done with the reset button at the bottom of your code editor. That's this one right here. Okay, so each color is represented by 3 numbers between brackets, right? These are the RGB values, the color values. Try changing numbers, running your code, and observing the results. You can always reset your code if you don't like the result. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? We've got orange. So let's change this to 50. Oops, 50. Change this to 100. So orange, so the U is orange, and the L is orange, and the O here is orange. I can't touch them because of the bounce bubble effect, but you can see how they change in a sec. They've changed to be practically invisible. It's probably too light of a color. It's too gray or white or whatever. Okay, so let's change you to 75. Let's see. See it there. That's not a really super impressive color. I need to find some nicer colors here. Yeah, let's just do 0 here. We'll just drop it all the way down and see what's good. So there's this gray kind of color. I turned it here. I'm gonna have to pick some better colors. Let's move it along. Okay, change physics. Part of the power of coding is that small changes can create big impacts. Now that you've experimented with changing color and text, it's time to experiment with the animation itself. 3 variables let you experiment with the animation physics: mouse response threshold, friction, and rotation force. Okay, so just FYI, a lot of times this can sound very confusing. Like, it can sound like what mouse response threshold? Like, if you break that down, you can understand what they're talking about. But when you have a bunch of them in a sentence, it can be really confusing. Just take your time. Just take your time. Be patient. If you've never done coding before, your brain will adjust. You can learn how to do this. It will just take some time. This all makes sense. You'll start to be like, oh, that's a function. Oh, that's a variable. And oh, that's Python versus JavaScript. I swear that will come. That will come eventually. If it's not natural to you, you might have to have some refreshers if you take some time away from coding. I always need refreshers when I take some time away. But still, I really, really enjoy what learning how to code lets me do and what it lets me create, especially as someone who likes games and art and makes games and art for a living. It's amazing what knowing just a little bit of code can help you do. Okay, so mouse response threshold affects how close the mouse pointer needs to be to affect the dots that make up the letters, yeah. The larger the number, the more powerful the mouse interaction. Experiment with changing the mouse response threshold to different numbers and running your code. Okay, so this variable controls the small distance at which the mouse will respond. Okay, so let's bump it up to 100. We turned it from 50 to 100. Am I powerful? I feel powerful. Change it from 100 to 30. I'm less powerful. There we go. Great. Okay. So try experimenting with the friction value. You'll probably want to keep the friction between 0 and 1. Okay, so let's start off by dropping it straight down to 30. And since this variable controls how strongly the dots will try to return to their starting position, so we've dropped that down. So this is what it looks like right now. Ooh, actually, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this back to 52. Let's see. So we're going to look to see how quickly they try to get back. Oh, friction. Yeah, they do not want to move at all when we drop it down. Okay, let's turn it back up. They're just like, we don't want to move. Boing, they're back. They're moving quick. Okay, so finally, try experimenting with the rotation force value. This variable represents how much each animated dot will try to rotate when interacting with mouse. Try keeping the value small, maybe around 0.01. Okay. Oh, run away. Run away. Can we move you back? How do we... Oh no, technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Oh my gosh. Let's try reloading this. I don't even know how that happened. Perfect. Okay. So where are we at? So we'll just have to do this again. Oh no, we don't. Everything's... Okay, so... Yes, we'll have to run this. Yeah, you're right about that. Mouse response threshold, we'll change it to 100. Because I want to bring it back to the spot we were at. Check mark, check mark. Okay, so finally try experimentation with the rotation force. Okay. Okay, 0.01 is what they're telling us that we should do this rotation force with. Wow, that's really large. What if I did 0.02 or 0.05? Hold on. Bear. Whoa, this is pretty psychedelic. Okay, let's keep it moving. Onward! Congratulations, you're ready to take on your next Codecademy lesson. Awesome, we're done. Oh, we have a message. I don't need this. I'm gonna skip that. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go to the catalog because we're gonna line up our course for next time that we're gonna do. And line it up by full catalog. Okay, so we're gonna ignore those paths. We're gonna ignore the intensive programs because we're just gonna go through the courses. So we're gonna go HTML next. So we're gonna do all of these in order. So next time we're gonna be learning HTML, and we're just gonna go through this a little every day, every couple of days, so that we can get in shape. And we can build Planet Slothicorn. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next time.